Ever wanted a replica car to match your replica watch? Well, here in Guangzhou, China, you get your chance, the opportunity to own one of these fine replica cars. Although they may look like original Land Rovers and Mercedes, these are Chinese knockoffs. You can't really beat the Chinese, you can't really match them, you can't even control them. They're out of control. Here you've got something that looks like a Mercedes-Benz, but it's a Chinese car. It'll match your Chinese-made Patek Philippe. And further on down the road, we have what seems like an X5 from BMW, but this is anything but. This here will match your replica Grand Seiko, and you'll be proud to drive it. And some of you could never afford the Nissan GTR, so you may as well go for the Chinese version. Looks pretty good. I wonder, though, if it runs. And some of you, ladies and gentlemen, want the ultimate in luxury, so you want a Rolls Royce, but you can't really afford a Rolls Royce. Enter the Chinese, and they can make one that looks just like a Rolls Royce. They even make replica cars of cars I've never even heard of. Something from a British car named the Englon. Well, here is the Chinese version. I don't get it. I don't understand it. And if you like the Ford F-150, well, down to the Ford emblem itself, we can give you a carbon copy of the F-150. Not a problem. Anytime, anywhere. And if you want to be the Chinese version of Arnold Schwarzenegger and you want yourself a Humvee or a Hummer, and you don't have the cash or the muscles, this thing is for you. And if a Mini Cooper is in the cards for your mini penis and your mini life and your mini watch and your mini Timex, we got the Mini for you. And if you don't know what to match your replica Panerai with, do we have the Fiat lookalike for you? You can go out in the town looking like any stylish person from Italy. Well, and if you want a little Nissan, something that runs around like $6,000, but you only have three, well, here's a car for you. Airbags not included. And if you have a replica Langan 1 and you want something European looking, sturdy, strong, and a 4x4, well, we can make one for you in Japan, actually in China. And if Mercedes is your name of the game, and you like your Steinhardt watch, but you can't afford the $500, we make replica Steinhardts that come with this car here in China. And if you really like the high-end car, the Audi R8, but you can't really afford one, and you like to wear a fake Rolex, this is the car for you. Stupid is as stupid does, and if you're stupid and ugly and look like a fool, but you want to look smart, this replica smart car will do you just right in the streets of Beijing. And which guy out there doesn't want a replica Zeppelin watch to go along with his Mercedes-looking replica car? Funky paint job, funky watch, funky lifestyle. And not to be outdone, everybody needs to plug in a car. Unfortunately for those who are living in China, they don't actually have free running electricity in their backyards. What a shame. And in any socialist country, communist country, we need a car for the people. And this here is the Coros. The Coros for the people. Safe, reliable, efficient, and cheap. And if you're French and you've got nowhere to go and a car to get there, this replica of a Peugeot will do you just fine if you're French. In keeping the theme with the French, this replica of a Citroën looks pretty good, actually. Actually better than the real thing. I owned a Citroën. I almost killed myself in it. Well, these guys replicated the Fiat Panda, and I don't get it. I mean, what's next? A replica of the Ford Pinto? Explosions included? Who knows? Probably the most original car in Guangzhou happens to be this Cherry Alpha. At least it looks original and it sounds original, but who the fuck wants to drive a car called Cherry Alpha? And as if the real thing wasn't bad enough, this happens to be a Chrysler Sebring. Which begs the question, why? Why? If you always wanted to buy a Lotus and couldn't afford it, you can come to China and buy a car from the Young Men Auto Group, which is owned by Lotus. You can actually own a Lotus here in China. And Winston Churchill is actually turning in his grave with this British knockoff. We shall never surrender. We shall defend our island, but not our car designs. Never mind a Cadillac, never mind a Mercedes or a Lincoln Continental. You want a limo? Well, here it is, inspired by Batman in the 1960s. And here we have another Mercedes look-alike. I mean, it's inspired by Mercedes. I can't figure out what this thing is. It's not really original, though. It reminds me of a Mercedes, and that's what it is, a replica Mercedes. And what's worse than a replica Renault? A replica watch of a Chinese replica. I mean, if you're going to replicate a car, why a friggin' French Renault? And did you guys think BMW was getting off easy with that cheesy X5? Well, here's another inspired design or ripoff from BMW. You be the judge. And the Chinese replica of a Breitling Navigator needs a Porsche Cayenne, but not a real one. Just one that's been knocked off and ripped off and overall replicated for the Chinese. Here in Mitsumi Tachihase going mental and crazy over there in Japan because this is a replica of a Lexus. And I gotta say one word for this: sacrilege. And Mercedes has been the victim of more design ripoffs and replication, but it's okay. Didn't the Germans try to stick it to Greece? Fuck 'em, I say, fuck 'em. Be still Ivan Vanity's bleeding asshole. There is a Chinese replica of the AMG. What will they think of next? What will they come up with next? Who knows? And you could pretend you're the Sultan of Sony driving around the streets of Beijing in this Toyota Hi-Ace replica. I don't know what this is, but I don't even think I'd like to see the original. What a monstrosity. The Chinese James Bond with a slightly smaller penis, we have a replica of a Range Rover. What the fuck is the world coming to? The Chinese are out to destroy our Western civilization by replicating everything that we make. Keep your eyes peeled and your ears raised to the sky because this is not right. Thanks for watching.